Hello, everyone.
Yo.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Hola.
Welcome to the Mad LiberTEA Party. I am Paxton, and of course, with me, as always, is Mike. And then we have a few of our usual guests for our live session here tonight. Of course, we have I3 with his cool glasses. You need to have like a wood chipper in your back. We need to get you a green screen. That way you can have like a wood chipper in the background. That's what we need.
Yeah, well, I would like that very much, but the studio only offers two options.
You can add your own custom one.
You can okay. Well, I need a custom background for wood chipper.
Yeah, that's. You see my Fed Boys place where I got paid off by the FBI. All that good stuff. Really moving up in the world. Yeah. So you guys should really turn yourself into the FBI. It's really good, money.
They've been asking me to do it for years
now. Turn yourself into the FBI, get a library.
Yeah, get a library with a fireplace, and this is a real leather chair. And of course we have Maxwell with his beautiful flag behind him.
Back in person.
And then we have Mr. Creep with us as well. Welcome back, Mr. Creep.
What's up?
You got a lot of attention the last time you were on with all the people freaking out about communism. It was a good time.
I very much enjoyed it.
Everybody get ready to freak out again.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get ready to freak out again, especially when I tell you what happened in fucking Bolivia. This was all my lefty buddies are going crazy over it right now.
Yeah, you gotta give us the scoop on what the lefty people are all excited about and shit, because we don't understand.
Is this the new token? Like it used to be like token black bread, and now
is token leftist.
Yeah, this is my Toki commie.
See, look, I'm not a Hoppian. I totally have a communist friend. So.
And I have a 3D printed helicopter ready on standby.
Oh,
Let's
God.
See.
I'm afraid of how that would run.
So would I.
Well, Mike, we're still working out the kinks. It's in the beta. Check the keybase.
Oh, God. Let's not get into kinks with Mike in here.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Yeah, see, this is exactly what I mean. Today, we're going to be talking about censorship, the various rallies and protests that have been going on, and a few of the shootings that have been happening. Is it shootings or just one shooting? Are we talking about multiples or?
No, we're gonna it's not just shootings, but also like crimes and stuff like that. Stuff that's going on that's actually relative to the freaking protests and stuff. Like we'll talk about the McAllisters. Is that how you say it? The McAllisters. McCloskey's. Fucking Christ, I can't get the name right.
Waiting for you to get it right.
Just a little update in the. I'm gonna go through every fucking variation of this name before I get it right. We're gonna do a little update on that, and a little update on Kyle, and a little update on the. We're gonna talk through some of the Denver crap and, like new things that have come up that we have to talk about, basically, and whatnot, and a little bit of reflection on what all of this stuff has really been doing to us as a society, and some of the techniques that they're using during all of this to like definitely hit us with the most polarizing effect as possible anytime something like this happens.
Are you gonna go over your fucking tinfoil conspiracy theory stuff over there?
Yes.
Okay, god damn
it. I just realized I'm all grainy because my light's not on.
And we're also going to be discussing, we are going to talk about the protests and stuff too. Like there was a unity rally in Lansing last Wednesday, which went really well. And then there was where Mike Dunn got arrested for open carrying, and then they did a protest about it. And
he got the chalky milk.
The cool BLM dude showed up, and I've got a clip of him talking. He's pretty cool, and they were there. And yeah, I have a clip of the. I have clips. We have clips, and then we have like Max down here who went to a protest in Phoenix where everything got pretty spicy on the protesters, and we've got at least one story from Creep over here about it. And I'm sure we're going to get at least a little bit of gossip, whatever is allowed, right? From I3.
Man, I don't know.
Oh man.
I'm not gossip anymore. I'm at the point where I am just answering questions, and that's all I'm doing now. I'm not doing anything more. Let's just put it that way.
Uh-oh.
He probably got in trouble. They probably picked him up. Are you wearing a wire?
I'm not wearing a wire, but then again, someone with wearing a wire would say that, wouldn't they, Max?
Yes, they
Exactly.
would.
That's
Pinky
exactly
promise.
what someone wearing a
Pinky
wire
promise,
would say.
I3.
I don't do pinky promises. I got big hands.
He's wearing a wire.
If you are wearing a wire, FBI, eat my ass.
Blink twice if they're listening.
They're not in that type of kink yet.
Well,
If they've been
I'll
watching
make
me
them.
for this
I
long,
will
they're
make them
probably into all
that
sorts
kink.
of shit at this point.
Tell
Either that or
them
they've
also,
lost
I
their
will-
minds.
I'll make them into that kink, and also tell them I'm going to fuck their dads. I'm going to buy their dad a nice steak dinner, wine and dine him, and I'm going to fuck their goddamn dads.
Yes. Fuck their dads.
There was a guy that like yelled that at the
helicopter.
That was great.
Well, this went in a different direction than I thought it would.
Well, this was a very
this
nice
is pretty
intro.
normal.
I hope you guys are enjoying it. Welcome to the show. Hope you guys, those of you who are here already, make sure you like and share that stuff because, like, it really helps us out, especially with, like, the way people are getting sucked in. It's dicking with our followers and everything like that.
It's almost like they don't want us to say what we're saying, so we should say it louder.
Yeah,
That's
I know,
exactly
right?
what we did. We got kicked off Facebook and then like got what, almost half of our subscribers.
Well, we ended up with more subscribers. We ended up with more engagement, and we got fired up to do the new morning show, which is every fucking morning at 6:30 CT.
Oh my god.
And we've been doing it for 8 days now. And I mean, Paxton couldn't make it during the weekend, so I just came up with stuff to do. I did a how-to on the Matrix if you're interested in going back and checking that stuff out. That's actually on our page, so it's super easy to find.
Do you want to get us back on topic here, Mike?
Wait, we have
Yeah,
topics?
I mean, like, what do we want to start with? Which one do we want to start with?
I want to start with Bolivia.
All right.
Yeah.
Start us off with Bolivia, creep.
All right. So basically, what happened in Bolivia is a while back. Just to give you a little background here. There was this guy, Evo Morales. Hold on, I gotta close out of this just so I can get all the names right in this all this shit.
I fucking hate it. I'm always afraid I'm gonna get the names wrong, which I do.
Yeah.
You already got a name wrong. Like, already.
and
8 minutes in.
let's see. All right, so let me get his name right real quick. His last name's Morales, and
Morales.
Morales. Sorry, my mask is like muffling everything. And he had been elected, like, this would have been the 4th time he would have gotten elected, but apparently there were some people from the United States that were looking at the polls or something and saying that he was rigging the election. Now, this guy, it's very highly unlikely because this guy's very popular. He was the first indigenous person of that region to actually get elected to office. Everybody pretty much liked him, and he was about to win the election for the 4th time. Instead, they spread rumors of election fraud. There was a United States-backed coup, and he had to flee the fucking country. And then this huge right-wing fascist bitch named Inez took over as the interim president, and they just recently, and ever since, there's just been a huge bunch of protests. The country was essentially an open rebellion. Like, if you see some of the videos of how they were dealing with the cops, it was basically how I wish we were doing it here. But anyways,
Could be doing this, but
it's like it was just glorious. Anyways, but yeah, they were still having an election, and the protesters even blockaded some of the ports and stuff, so the government had to give in to their demands and make the election actually fair and not try to rig it. And Inez lost by an overwhelming margin. She stepped down. Some guy that was the secretary under Morales, that was running in his place, essentially under the same party ticket, won. And so yeah, the Socialist Party back in Bolivia is now back in the seat of power, and the fascists are running away in disgrace. And so yeah, a lot of the lefties are really excited about this. We fought back against a literal United States back coup, like some Cold War era bullshit, and we won. So yeah, that's it. It's a really good day for lefties out there right now.
See, I'm torn because I'm like, it's always a good day when a fascist loses, but it sounds like one version of statism giving away to another.
Well,
it's always good when the fascists lose, but it's always bad when the commies win. So this is just a net meh.
I mean, I would look at it this way: democracy actually prevailed, or democracy actually prevailed over imperialism.
Technically, yeah.
But
Yeah,
like, fuck democracy.
What?
Like, fuck democracy, though.
I think we're missing.
I gotta disagree with you on that. As a collective anarchist, I am all for democracy. That's what I'm all for.
Two wolves in a sheep decide what's for dinner.
Yeah, but you're for like direct democracy, like in the community, localized and shit. You're not for like actual national.
Well, like, even if
I'm
let's say
for what the
hypothetically,
people choose.
let's say hypothetically.
Hey,
we,
one at a time, y'all. Hold on.
Sorry.
I can't understand either of you. Creep, you first, then Max.
I'm for what the people choose. What the people choose, that however they choose to collectivize themselves, however they choose to organize themselves, whatever they want to do as a community, no matter how big or small that community is, I will respect their decision on that. Because if I was going to infringe on their decision as a community, then that would basically go against everything I stand for as an anarchist. That would just be me being a fucking full authoritarian, being like, well, I don't think this is right. I believe in small government, so I want to defund your government and stuff, even though the majority of the people don't want that. Like, I have to. If I'm going to stick to my principles as a collective anarchist, I have to respect the democratic process. And
yeah, it's when the state starts overpowering the people and making the democratic process the joke that it is today. That
like when it.
Off.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's why I'm not on the U.S. government side either, because our process is not democratic at all. It's there's a bunch of bullshit like lobbyists and the electoral college and yada yada yada. The list goes on. We all know this already.
Well, but I would argue that democracy and honestly, a representative democracy is, while it's bad and it is status, would even be better than a direct democracy. Like, let's look at the South. Pre-Civil War South, there were a lot of slaves, but they didn't outnumber the white people, and abolition in the South was very rare. So do you really think that we should be able to say, well, you know what? If Alabama wants to secede and they want to keep slavery, we should let them keep slavery because democracy. That's not how this works. Just because 50+1% want something doesn't mean that they should be able to enforce their will on the rest of the people. If 3 out of the 4 of us in this call right now, because Mike skipped, all decided that the 4th person should get fucking gang raped, that still would be bad, because fuck democracy. What's really correct is the individual. The individual should have control over their own life, not the community.
Well, that the fucking four people deciding somebody is getting raped. I don't think that's really a democratic process.
But that is violence. If everybody gets to vote and everybody's vote counts equally, that's democracy, right?
Well, I mean, that's basically what happens with taxation. Like, a majority will vote, yeah, we want this kind of taxation and shit. But at the end of the day, these people are being forced, like, they have to work, and they are being forced to involuntarily give their money up.
Yes.
Or else they're going to be thrown in jail and everything like that.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, like, there are situations where I'm okay. Personally, I like democracy in very small localized situations would it
Voluntary
make sense,
groups.
so long as it's all a voluntary interaction. Now, when
Well,
the state
yeah,
gets involved, it becomes involuntary, though.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I mean, it is a it does kind of have to be voluntary. Like, you shouldn't probably, you probably, if you don't want to be in an area that there's slavery, you definitely probably shouldn't live in an area that's slavery. And it's just, it definitely has to be voluntary. And there's nothing really preventing people from leaving that particular area, I guess.
Well, what if I grew up in an area? What if I have a connection to the area and I don't want to just have to up and leave because I don't like somebody else's decision? Is that not coercion? Am I not being, in a sense, forced to leave when I don't want to? That's not voluntary. If I mean, want to live somewhere,
you're not really being forced to leave. I mean, if most of the people are, if you don't like the tax policy in that state or something, like, but everybody else seems to like it, like, why, what right do you have to enforce the tax policy?
And I gotta step in here and be like, you're using the statist argument because, like, in a stateless situation, like, it wouldn't be that hard to fucking just up and leave if you didn't like what was going on in your area.
No,
because
in a stateless
wouldn't be bound and chained by the fucking white market that is enforced by the fucking state.
Well, I don't want to
by
leave.
the 9 to 5.
I'm not talking about being forced to by a state. I'm talking about I don't want to leave this geographic area.
Like, if you ended up in an area, like, if you were in any anarchist area and you were there and the community decided they wanted to do something, and you were the only person that didn't want to do that.
I'm not talking about being alone. I'm talking about 50 plus 1% making the decisions for everybody.
That's not what you were saying earlier, though.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the majority oppressing the minority, and that's not okay, no matter what size group. In those kind of
situations, without a state, there would be a clash, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's gonna happen.
But seeing the praises of democratic process isn't going to do any good in getting towards a stateless society. When your main argument is, well, if you don't like it, just leave, then that's kind of when your argument falls apart. You know, we should be able to have a system where each individual has control over their own life and nobody is being coerced to do anything against their will.
Well, it's if it comes to a civil rights issue or just individual liberty, I wouldn't say that the democratic process would turn out like that, because if you're in that situation, like I said, I'm a collective anarchist. You wouldn't stuff that affects people's individual liberties would be basically off the table.
Well, what do you have to keep it off the table? If you just have a direct democracy and no guaranteed rights, but what if the community doesn't care about human rights? What if the community doesn't want people to have free speech?
Well, that community would be considered fascist, and I would not support that community, and I would actively fight against them.
So you would go against a democratically elected fascist, but not a democratically elected communist?
Because I would fight against fascists because they go against they go against the individual rights and won't let people live by their individual rights. But like,
I think can we do? Oh my god! No, hey, both of you, be quiet. Can we do the FBI interrogation after the show?
Well, I want to ask one more question before we go on. I think that the end-all best question here to ask would be, so if you had a democratically elected communist leader, right? And they were actually fulfilling and they were not actually fulfilling the will of the people. They were being a statist authoritarian.
Yeah.
You'd probably would you rail against them just like you would a fascist?
Yeah, absolutely. Like if they weren't fulfilling the will of the people and they weren't doing what they were elected to do, obviously I would fight against them.
All right. I3, make your comments, and then we'll continue on to the next subject.
I think the larger picture is being missed. This is another government entity infringing and invading another country via politics. We've done it to Venezuela. We've done it to several countries in South and Central America. We keep doing it to administrations we don't like, regardless of which political swing they are on the spectrum. Regardless if it's Trump, Bush, Obama, Clinton, we keep going in there. We push in a particular person we want because it's friendly to American foreign interests. So the larger picture is we just went in and tried to mess up another country's election. We failed, but that doesn't mean they're going to try again in another country or another time in the same country.
Oh yeah, because we do it in other countries all the goddamn time. And like,
And
yeah,
America
you're right.
for
I
election.
almost got to the point that you were making when I was like, it's just another status taking over from another status. But you're right, it is us meddling again.
We're
And
meddling.
we really need to fucking stop
It's not
getting
the
involved
Russians.
in other people's
The
bullshit
Russians are
and
not.
letting them
Yeah, they're not
letting them
meddling.
do it, because like a lot of times in the past when we've gotten involved, it hasn't actually been the will of the people, it's just been the will of us.
Yeah.
Like what is it they say, the worst thing that anybody can ever imagine hearing from an American is, I'm here to help.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we
We're going
basically.
to liberate you.
Government is bad, regardless if you like the government that won or not. Government is bad. End of story.
Yeah, the pattern is it's basically if they had to choose between having a communist government in there or a fascist government, they'll always choose the fascist because the fascists are more friendly to businesses and capitalism in general. So they're going to want a fascist in there.
Not necessarily.
I think they want
It is necessary for their brand of capitalism. Maybe not your brand of capitalism, the ANCAP version, but like neoliberalism, where they have their globalist like business network where the spice must flow. The fascist is very good for them because fascists can be very friendly to business.
Capitalism in quotes.
but if they're a populist, yes, definitely. If they can be like, we've shown again and again and again that this like corrupt corporativist bullshit that we run around saying is capitalism will play directly into the hands of fascist dictators again and again and again.
Like, we don't care who gets elected as long as the oil keeps flowing, and usually it's the fascists who keep it flowing to us.
Yes.
I mean, we don't give a shit if it's a fascist or a communist.
Hell,
The
we
only time we give a shit is when the
we've
oil stops
elected
flowing.
Islamic fascists and Islamic communists in certain Middle Eastern countries. Now, it doesn't matter if they're communist or fascist, as long as they make sure the oil will flow in said country. Then that dictator in that country might be on your side politically, on the political spectrum, but they're horrible inside their own citizens, but they're against the U.S. government. So, I mean, you can hate Baghdadi, you can hate Hussein, you can hate Gaddafi, but at least they were doing something. They were making sure that there was no involvement for us to be in there. But hey,
we're on a whole new list today.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check that one off the list.
To my knowledge, very few leftists
bingo card.
left in the. There's very few leftists in the Middle East, as is. I think the only ones that really have any like huge commie shit going on are the Kurds, and they don't even have a state.
I was about to say, I didn't even think there was any leftists in the fucking East.
No, they killed them all. That's why, Mike. They killed them all.
Make sure the Baathists are gone.
Yeah. Like, they fucking straight up genocided those fucks.
I mean, I wouldn't call it a genocide. They just kept coming at us, and we had more ammunition than them.
Okay.
Gulf War, go Burr.
So
Next topic.
Next topic. What do we want to hit next?
Do we want to talk about done?
Okay, well, that's the protest. Do we want to hit do we want to go back and forth and just like?
Well, there was a protest in Bolivia. Now we can go to protest in America.
All right, so
America.
Place that
Yeah, all
actually
right.
matters.
So
History started
like
on July
last
4th.
Wednesday there was obviously you guys heard us talk about prior, and if you haven't, you can definitely go back and hear us bitch about it. Mike Dunn was arrested while open carrying at a libertarian event. It was the Spike Cohen rally. From what I understand, like there were so many like from what we've explained and stuff, there's so many things there that we dislike about the whole situation. Kind of pissed us off at Spike as a group. But like their response was to turn around and do like different people got together and created this little protest against the unconstitutional acts and stuff like that, and it went really well. Actually, I think we have like it actually went incredibly well. Not only did nothing really bad happen, but let's see, there were some really good situations and stuff. There was a peace exchange made.
All right. Know this? Support your right to free speech.
I want you to uphold the Constitution. That's what I want you to do.
We have to keep people safe.
I want you to uphold the
I
Constitution.
appreciate you conversation this morning, all right?
Yes, sir.
Have a few words.
Keep
Now
people
I'm told that
safe.
they couldn't. I'm told that they couldn't like get the Baja Blast. They had to do the regular Mountain Dew. But there was the chalky milk and the Mountain Dew. But yeah, I mean that part kind of irritated me a little bit because like it was like he was dodging, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe
Mike
that's just-
tried. Mad respect for trying. We all know he's not going to say it though. And
Yeah.
I feel like
They're
that
like
might
the
have been the point. I
Constitution.
don't
What's
think he-
that?
So,
I don't
but,
think
I
Mike
mean,
Dunn expected him to say he would uphold the Constitution.
I think that's why he did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and then the next thing that happened was good. I mean, there were some other things that happened out there that were good, and I have such mixed feelings about them. We'll discuss this in a second. I'll show off the other. Or actually, I'm gonna be like prior because I can't shut my fucking mouth. I was like, they
Okay.
acknowledged the Duncan Limp situation, which is good. I mean,
Not as good as body cam footage.
yeah.
So I won't take a lot of time up. I did get to talk to Mike this morning. We sat down right over here. It was a long night for me, so I appreciate him spending time
They gave me my pistol back.
for talking to me. He did give him his firearm back. So for me, let me first say this, that we certainly support your right to free speech. I appreciate the conversation, the good discussion, I guess, that we had. Did tell you we'd have a PA system. Wanted to have a podium, but we couldn't get the freaking thing to lock, so we at least got the PA system. I also wanted to say this, and I talked to Mike a little bit about this morning, that we talked about the situation with Duncan Limp. I want to send my condolences to that family. I do understand he was blessed with a baby boy, and that the child and mom are both doing well.
They are.
So I wanted to share that.
Hey, his name was Duncan Limp, so our name is Duncan Limp.
And I mean, like, that's very nice. It's a nice gesture.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, it was super positive. There's some really good stuff going on.
Oh,
Speaking
Oh
of
shit!
good
I hit the wrong
stuff,
button.
That was a wrong video.
There's really positive stuff going on here, and then like fucking chaos.
Screaming
That's a
chaos.
tease.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah,
Whoops,
that's a
that was an
teaser. My
accident.
protest was less fun.
Yeah, but you know, everything went relatively well, and I tried to get some other clips in here before it was time, but I couldn't get them up. The internet's being such a bitch. I'm gonna be fixing that relatively soon, so we'll have better collections of more clips and stuff like that. But like there was some really good shit that happened, and it was really nice that they acknowledged it, but like, I mean, do something about it.
And this
Like,
is why I
words.
say I
Words
don't
are
have
kind
a
of
problem.
like, I'm past words these days.
Yeah.
I feel you, Mike. I'm at that point too.
You can tell us whatever the fuck you want to tell us, but do something. Like I did a whole fucking episode way back when. You can go back into mic drops about this fucking apology crap.
Don't say so. You've sent me that video multiple
Yeah.
times.
When people apologize to me too often, I fucking send it to them. But seriously, I can't. What, Paxton? Am I being nitpicky? Do you think I'm being too fucking hard?
No, I mean, I think the only reason they're even having such a peaceful protest is that it was a whole bunch of guys with firearms. I think that's the only way that the
Well,
police
that
are ever
was
going to
actually
be
stated,
peacefully.
you know?
Yeah, I think that's the only way that the police are going to respect your right to protest, and I think it's the only way lawmakers are going to respect your right to protest. All of a sudden, they're a lot less willing to start throwing pepper spray and shooting at protesters because they'll shoot back. That's what I think you have to do. All of a sudden, you equal the ground, and the police officers get a lot less, big cock energy going around. I mean, the same thing happens in just like a standard pullover. You inform the police officer. If the police officer knows that you're armed, all of a sudden they get a lot less ballsy.
I don't know. There was one where the exact opposite thing happened. The guy
it can
he
go either
informed me
way.
he had a firearm, and he was just like, "Hey, I'm legal. I'm licensed to carry this, but hey, I'm just going to get you my ID real quick," and then bam.
No,
Like-
I think that proves the point. If anything, the police officer freaked out because he thinks he should be the only one with a fucking firearm.
Yeah. I mean, in the protest,
like it's
in the protest sense, yeah. But I was just kind of like, somebody might draw that might kind of throw that up on you because it's just like
I don't believe that you should have to tell them that you're armed. I don't tell anyone else that I'm armed, and I don't think any kind of magical badge gives you the authority to let you know that.
Like,
and it shouldn't fucking matter.
Yeah,
No,
it really
in-
shouldn't.
in a
Obviously,
car,
it's
the gun
wrong.
is
It's
usually
obviously it's
concealed.
wrong that he got shot either way.
But
Yeah,
like,
like, I
if,
know
if you're concealing a
bazillions of
firearm,
people who walk around armed all the goddamn time and they don't act any fucking different than anybody else. Like, they're just a normal person out there. There's no reason to be treating someone who's armed as any differently.
well, the difference is in a protest, you're usually open carrying, right? The cops can see the rifle and they see it as a threat, but it won't get the jump on them, so they don't get as like skittish and trigger happy. If you're in a car with a concealed firearm, they don't see it. They don't know when it's going to come out, so they're going to be a lot more trigger happy. They're going to be a lot more skittish. So I feel like that might be
over
the
anyway.
difference. They shouldn't be doing it
no.
anyway. I'm just saying that's the
Police
psychology
officer
behind
and
it.
skittish shouldn't fucking be a thing.
I agree, but that's how it is. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying that's the psychology behind it.
All these fucking cops come up with this fucking I fucking feared for my life bullshit.
And it's bullshit. They
They're
shouldn't be
scared,
fearing for
and
their life.
it's the only thing that's become apparent to me is that they're fucking terrified of everything, and they shouldn't be fucking doing that job.
It's like the white people are afraid of everything thing.
I would say if there's going to be an arm, I would say if it's going to be an armed march. I would say if there's going to be an armed march, it should also be one that has a hell of a lot of people, because if the cops outnumber you, like it's definitely not good. And then they're just like, oh, he was armed and we outnumbered them, justifiable cause. Let's fucking open up on these motherfuckers and slaughter a bunch of protesters.
I don't even think that's realistic either. I think a police officer is very unlikely to shoot at a visibly armed person. Worst case scenario, they're going to call in a SWAT team. Most of the people out there that are willing to go to a armed protest like that are the same kind of people that are willing to have a firefight with a SWAT team, though. So I'm really not that worried.
Well, yeah, they call it the riot. They get the riot gear real quick, no matter what.
I don't know.
Remember,
and there's people like fucking. There's people like Max who hide behind the trash can.
It was a bench / half wall, but remember that if you guys are ever on the ground, 99% of the time, and like I know this, I know a lot of police officers who've told me this, and I've seen it with my own eyes. If you think that you outnumber the police, you don't outnumber the police. Most of the time. Most protests, they will only have as many officers visible as they want you to think there are. There's a reason that the glass at the Phoenix PD headquarters, the glass doors are one-way glass because they don't want you to know how many people they have behind there. And the correct answer is there's about 50 to 60 of them back there just in case they need it. And they're all armed and they all are in riot
Oh
gear.
yeah, we're almost
I
all
hate to be an asshole, but like that kind of logic only applies here in Arkansas if you're black. Like, because I've been to various different rallies and protests and shit like that, and like there are like 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4 cops at the ones that are mostly white and more right leaning freedom style things and stuff like that. The BLM ones, they're peaceful, just as peaceful as the others are, and they're like, so there's cops everywhere. They fucking block the roads. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. And like, I'm sitting there watching this shit. Then I go to the other ones and people are like, oh my God, there's police officers here. I don't see why people think that it's biased. And I'm like, let me show you a picture. You see this line of cops in SWAT gear, and they're like, really? When did this happen? I was like, just the other day.
You want an example of implicit police bias? Oh my God, I got a fucking tale for you guys. So last week when I was the protest from last week, we were doing our march. It was a vigil actually, so it wasn't even much of a protest. It was just a vigil, and we just had like candles and stuff, and we were walking the streets saying the names of everybody that's been unjustifiably slaughtered by the police, and we at first lap went pretty well, and then just when I was thinking, oh, this actually went really well. Oh my God, we actually had like an actual peaceful fucking protest for once, and nobody tried to fuck with us. Just when I thought about that, some dude jumps out of his car pulling a fucking knife on us because traffic control. He was getting too impatient with traffic control, even though it was just for like a minute while we marched through. And so there was that, and then right after that, another dude tried to run through the crowd at an intersection, and just like fucking, he ran over a couple people, and then he literally stopped, and the cops are sitting there the entire time. They see this all happening. This guy, he runs over some people, stops at a light, and then gets out of his fucking truck and tries to brawl with the protesters. Like, the cops had so much opportunity to arrest this guy, and they did nothing. And I think another guy tried to run over some people after that too, but he wasn't as bold as the other one. He didn't stop and try to brawl with us. He just tried to run people over and drive away. But yeah, cops did nothing for this guy. And then the very next day, I go to a protest at the sheriff's department, and I believe it was Santee. We call it Clan T because a bunch of fucking neo-Nazi white supremacists live there, and we're one of the people is calling for an investigation against DEC. They're the local right-wing militia that's been giving us so much trouble. They're probably one of the people that tried to run us over was part of it too. I can bet you that right now. And yeah, all these people, all this guy did is like, all right, so we're putting a line in the. We're putting a line against a red line against fascism. Like, it was kind of like, it was a performative kind of thing. And like, he spray paints a line on a sidewalk, and the sheriffs come out and like with like 5, maybe 10 people and arrest this guy. Like, they didn't really keep him long because it was just stupid. But like, it's just they literally watch a guy barrel through a crowd, come out and try to get in a street fight with protesters, declaring he's a Proud Boy, and do nothing, even though they have perfect opportunity to arrest him. But then they see the next day a BLM guy just spray paint a simple red line as some performative action, and they come out and force and arrest this dude. Like, it just comes to show you the cops don't care about protecting people; they care about protecting property, or they'll protect some people over others.
Yeah, they don't want to stop any of this. Like, it doesn't matter what the situation is. You see again and again the police standing there and letting shit happen. Stuff that is made to light sparks and fan flames, specifically shit like that.
Yeah.
And if you know, like, and it doesn't matter whether you're trying to defend yourself from like looters, or if you're at a protest and things get wild, or if you're at a protest being attacked by some rando. It seems like the act of defending yourself is something that they can't abide by.
Yeah, because if we got like one guy kind of maybe threw a kick in the shin at the dude that was trying to brawl with us, and he kind of backed up because the dude was like twice his size and he was just a fucking bitch. But like literally, if we just all laid hands on that dude and just shoved him out of the way, like they would have probably tried to arrest us all. So like we had to be very like conservative with our self-defense. Like we know they're watching, and we know they're waiting for a moment to just like pin us with some shit, because they'll let the Proud Boys do whatever the fuck they want. But at the minute we try to defend ourselves, they're gonna find something to charge us with.
Well, I mean, let them do whatever they want. That's complicated because, like, the media fucking slaughters all these different groups in their own fucking ways, so nobody gets to do anything.
Well, yeah,
But
the media
the cops
says
will let whichever group is causing the most, they pick whichever thing's going to be the most inflammatory at the moment. And the problem is, like, obviously at this point, I think that it's clear that they're not on anybody's side, because like you've got people on the right and the left that are being like totally dicked over by this entire situation by the cops specifically.
It's like statism hurts everybody. It
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
care who
almost
you
like
are.
sadism
It doesn't
sucks
care
for
what
everyone.
you are. All it wants is power, and it doesn't matter who it fucks over to get that.
Well, and I mean, keeping us at each other's throats isn't the best way to keep that going. And the thing is, like, they're like, just like what was going on over in the protest on Wednesday, like there was a guy there who was talking, and he's involved with the BLM stuff and everything, and like he's talking about how, you know, like amazing this is and everything like that, and how he's never really been able to like protest and be like offered a PA system and all this other shit before. But like if you go to his Twitter and look at shit, you just see like the first thing I see is this video of him walking down the street holding a flag and then just like getting clobbered basically.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I mean, you don't really see that happening to a lot of fucking Proud Boys right now.
They thought the flag was a gun, so shooting him was justified, Mike, obviously.
No, none of this shit's justified. They're just out there stirring the pot on us, trying to get us to fucking fight more. They're shaking the jar with the ants in it.
Yeah, I think sorry, you know what? You go. Sorry.
I was gonna say, I was like, that could basically be an underlying and overlaying theme for tonight, is like all these things are shit. I fucking lost where I was going because I got stopped.
They're all shit.
They're all shit, and their status fault. Fuck the government.
Hey,
that's not what I was gonna say, but it works anyway.
Can you change the name of this series to "It's All Shit and Fuck the Government"?
I'll bring up this point on Mike's point, is that Trump federalized police across the country, sheriffs, local and state police departments. So it's not how big your police departments are in a small or large city. Every police now has federal power. Think about that.
Well, yeah, but also the Little Rock Police Department is a lot smaller and statistically a lot less violent than a place like Phoenix PD, which is...
That's the best spam I've ever seen on a live chat.
It's beautiful.
I feel like this is what they like send directly to Joe Biden.
Yeah,
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden. Hunter Biden. It's Hunter Biden.
Hunter Biden can't read. He's too busy fucking
Hunter
smoking
Biden
crack.
his crack pipe fell out of his mouth and hit the mouse.
Well, and I mean, and and no matter what these instances are about, no matter whose side they're on or whatever, they seem to like the media intentionally picks the most fucking polarizing terms to use and just slaps it on them.
Yeah.
Like, I get it if somebody's out there like declaring that they're Antifa or a Proud Boy or some shit, then they can be like, Antifa, this Antifa member did this thing. But most of the time when they're like, these Proud Boys or this Antifa or whatever, like they don't explain how they know that those people, and it's not apparent. And I'm sitting there going, well, like,
Yeah, the guy
how
that
do you know
actually
this isn't
attacked
just
us.
some fucking asshole?
And
The
to that note,
Yeah, the guy that actually attacked us, like, literally declared himself a Proud Boy. I saw the whole damn thing, so I'm just like,
Yeah, no, I mean, like, there's a lot of violence out there, and it's coming from everywhere because everyone is so fucking pressurized right now by the media and our government and the lockdown. Well, I mean, our government with the lockdowns and all that shit.
Yeah.
And like the cops they're not even giving people a moment. Like they don't give people a moment to calm down. As soon as something happens, like starts to chill, they throw something else out there, like the Denver thing, and people are still fucking debating over that. And I mean, like, after seeing all the different photographs and shit laid out in order and stuff like that, like you see the guy like holding the can of mace, pointing it towards like the camera and shit at first. I really think that he was being threatening. I don't know if shooting him in the head was what I would have done in response.
Was it the guy that shot him, Pinkerton, like a fucking, like, they said he was like a Pinkerton security guard, so it's just like, so one fascist killed another fascist.
Well, I mean, like, the Pinkertons don't, like, the Pinkerton group, he's not licensed. They don't fucking, it's not legit. So, like, I'm loath to call him, I'm not sure if we should call him a Pinkerton.
Well, he might have.
On one hand, I'm kind of like, fuck licensing. I don't really care about licensing, nor do I think it's necessary.
What I have read, Mike, is that he wasn't licensed. They always specify he was not licensed to do security in Colorado. So maybe he was licensed somewhere else, and that's where he was affiliated with the Pinkertons. I haven't been able to find out exactly, but I find it oddly specific that everybody always says was not licensed as a security guard in Colorado or in Denver.
Well, honestly, I mean, like,
but fuck licenses anyway. Like,
I just found it funny that instantly everybody tried to say the Pinkerton security guard was Antifa.
And like, I'm still trying to figure out exactly what the hell about him is Antifa, because like all the
nothing, Mike.
But Mike, it's Space Invaders.
People are giving like examples and shit, and they're like, look, he was at these protests and he was involved in what was it? The Wall Street thing.
Oh,
I mean, a lot of people were involved in
stuff like that.
Wall Street.
That was my response. My response was like, dude, so many people were involved in Occupy Wall Street. That's not really gonna tell.
Yeah.
And oh no, he went to a protest and he doesn't like racism. Does that immediately make you fucking Antifa? Because like, if going to a protest, not liking racism and being involved
Space
in
Invaders
Occupy Wall
Mike.
Street makes
It's all
you
about
Antifa,
the Space Invaders.
then I hate to tell some of you motherfuckers this, but that makes Tim pull Antifa.
Yeah. I mean, under the definition of just like what Antifa is actually supposed to be, since it's not really an organization, it's an ideology. I mean, for the most part, hey, do you not want to live in Nazi Germany? No. Okay. So welcome to Antifa.
Yeah, it's just these days knowing that they intentionally pick those polarizing terms and slap it on basically everything, no matter what it is. And you know, it makes me fucking skeptical, and I require something a little bit more substantial. Is all.
So here's an example of the media lying about a protest. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. It's like Andy N. He's some big blue check who always just, yeah, that dude. And yeah, so he was tweeting about the Phoenix protest that I went to on Saturday. He claimed that there were incendiary devices thrown at the police. Can I just get a round table? Paxton, what do you think when you hear incendiary device?
I'm thinking like,
My mixtape.
oh,
Nice. Mike,
damn.
Mike, what do you think when you hear incendiary device?
Dead ass.
Oh my god. Can we get a real answer for fuck's sake?
Okay,
What
let's end this.
Like
Let's
a
end this right
Molotov
now.
or something.
Molotovs.
Yeah, it sounds like they do a fucking Molotov.
I
that-
think incendiary device, Maxwell, is a hot ass poem in a poetry slam.
So
It's a warm ass pussy.
who wants to hear what was actually thrown at the police? And at the police is a bit of a stretch. They just like kind of dropped them on the ground. You know what they were? They were fucking smoke bombs. They threw a couple of smoke bombs on the ground, and
But they called them
and
incendiary devices.
bro, it's an incendiary device.
I think we got. I think some of the right wing chuds tossed that at some of us at one protest. I wasn't at that one though.
It's like arson, bitch. I threw a smoke grenade, but. Yeah, are we going to move on to this protest, or do we need to
Yeah,
say-
go ahead and talk. Do we have anything else we want to talk about on the cop brutality? We all fucking agree cops are stupid and they're bad and they are.
I'm
All cops are bastards.
Why doesn't the right that sort of backs the blue? Why don't? And this to me is a very conservative position that I think Paxton can agree on. That why don't we become police officers? We were for a time before the first police departments in Boston in 1840s, I
The
think.
first one was the NYPD in 18.
No, Boston was the first one. They didn't have a very good one. New York City did it better.
I don't remember Boston. Anyway, go on.
We were police officers, for 50, 60 years of this country. We were individuals that protected our own selves, our families, our friends, our communities. We didn't need police at that time. And so it's a conservative point to say, as individuals, we need to arm ourselves with our constitutional rights. We don't need police, but yet conservatives are wanting to back the blue.
Bootlickers.
So
Because it's not. The whole problem is that's not conservatism anymore. Republicans are not conservative. They're fucking not. They're
just
socialist
gay.
light. That's
They're
what
just
they
gay.
are.
In a bad way.
The
Not a good way, like
Democrats.
you.
No, you keep going, Maxwell. The Democrats are just socialist, communist, whatever the fuck you want to call them. The Republicans are just the light version.
I don't-
elitist
I don't-
bootlickers.
I don't think any political party in this country is even close to socialist. Like if you look at how everybody else would define socialism and how they conduct something that's quote unquote socialist, it's not even close in this country. I mean,
Socialism is an
Guys,
umbrella
that's not
term by
real
definition.
socialism.
There are plenty of socialistic ideas in the Democratic Party. Whenever you are doing socialized healthcare, that is socialist. That would make it socialism.
yeah, we don't really have socialized healthcare right now in the Democratic
That's what
Party.
that's what they want to do.
That's what the progressives want to do, and Joe Biden obviously does not want to do that.
So, on to the protest, though. Things got pretty spicy. We started out in the park, cop spotlights on us and everything, getting hassled because I ask too many questions. I don't think they understand what journalism is. My job is to ask
I
questions.
put your Sasquatch picture in here.
Oh my god. Okay. So we went to the protest, we marched, we blocked some roads because fuck 7th Street. And once things really started to get a little bit more spicy once we got on Adams, which is right in front of the police headquarters and the fuck, my battery's low.
What was the
And
protest for?
It was Black Lives Matter type of stuff.
Okay.
Not the move or not the organization, but aligned with the
The
movement.
movement and stuff, yeah.
So we were in front of the Phoenix City Hall. And in front of Phoenix City Hall is a construction site. They're currently doing some work on the roads. Because Moreau, all right? Moreau, who's going to pay for anyway? So the protesters, in an effort to slow down the police who were following them, started dragging out the road signs and the barricades and whatnot and using them to block the roads. One of them actually got stuck underneath the cop car and there was sparks everywhere. And there were some bootlickers who decided to show up right around then. A far-right organization called the AZ Patriots. Patriots, forgetting the fact that actual patriots shot cops in the 1700s. And these people were recording from behind the police line like pussies. So, Mike, do you have the picture from them? What they got? They got a cameo in their video. Yep, there's me. So I was over there.
Put a little arrow squiggle in it.
Yep, it's beautiful. Mike. So I was covering these protests. They were dragging the road signs. I had my little Sasquatch moment.
He looks like a Sasquatch.
Yeah. So the protest overall, it was peaceful. Nobody got hurt, which is what I don't understand. I don't think people understand what peaceful means. It means not involving violence or war. It doesn't mean not blocking any roads. So there was that debacle. Eventually, though, once we got to the... Let's just play the clip of the arrest. Because I think
Hold on, I got a picture.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta put the picture of it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so like apparently somebody made a comment and they were like, imagine just being this guy walking by in the red shirt, and they like thought that he was just some pedestrian.
They thought I was just some pedestrian. Like, I've been following these people for 3 miles.
Max has been like cameoing on other people's live streams all across Arizona, apparently.
Not affiliated with AZ Patriots. Actually, fun fact, if any of you guys know the green shirt laughing guy, the dude who's down in Tucson? He became a meme on Twitter for a while. The people he was laughing at was this chick that was doing the recording for AZ Patriots. She had a sign in that thing. It was like, if you don't like our laws, if you don't follow our laws, you should be deported. Something about advocating for the deportation of American citizens. I don't know. Let's play the clip of that arrest and see what went down. So that was fun.
I mean, stop me if I'm wrong, but that just looks like a bunch of like...
That looks like a bunch of
unarmed people being fucking huddled up and freaking brutalized.
One individual did have a firearm. They had a rifle, but obviously didn't use it. Which I would contend is a good thing because I was relatively close and would have gotten shot in the crossfire. So
who was getting arrested in that roundup? Was it BLM people or the pest?
It was a let me pull up so I don't butcher their name.
I've not seen the cops arrest fascists. Yeah. When has that happened?
Yeah, usually the cops are the fascists. It's the
sometimes.
The 1312 Collective was the organization that put that on. They're on the Twitter and the Instagrams and whatnot.
Wait. Okay,
the 1312 Collective. They were really nice to me. They were great people. They were a lot nicer than the BLM Phoenix Metro, that's for fucking sure. But they marched for a couple of miles that culminated in that arrest. An individual got total bystander.
What started it?
The arrest?
Yeah.
So they made the mistake of walking to an intersection. So the cops were able to sort of block off certain roadways and force us along a route. And eventually, after a few of those, they got us into a situation where they already had all 4 sides of the intersection blocked off. So at that point, it was moving in. I was able to catch on video the cops shoving a dude down some stairs. Not going to show that, obviously, because I don't have faces blurred in that, and they're identifiable tattoos and whatnot. But pretty fucked up. Like, Phoenix PD really needs to stop this shit if they don't want to have protests going on, because this is the reason we're having protests. There were, and I'm just trying to, off the top of my head, I believe there were 18 arrests, and all but one individual have been released, and the person who hasn't been released is because they already had a pending felony charge. Oh. So Yeah, somebody's not gonna be having a nice day, and I believe that might have also been the individual with the firearm. So, really, a lot of fucked shit going on in Phoenix. I have to get a charger, so I'm gonna duck. You guys can discuss.
So they kenneled the BLM guys, and then they just kind of jumped them and arrest about 18 of them, and of course brutalize the shit out of them.
As you do.
Yep, that seems pretty standard. Fucking A, man. Abolish the police. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't sound like anything fucking new, of course, but I mean, like, that literally looked like, I mean, to me, that looked like a huddled mass getting, like, just harassed and
Yeah,
hurt by the cops. Like,
yeah, they got kenneled and they just fucking jumped them. That fucking sucks.
that's dicked up.
You
I
know?
mean, I know that fucking happens, but it's still dicked up and it still pisses me off. And we're still all, and like, they've got our populace out there to the point where, like, I don't know if you guys noticed in the other picture, but like, they're sitting back enjoying it and they're like, commies getting arrested and stuff like that. And I'm like, they're able to distract us from what they're fucking doing to the point where we're using this for our entertainment, basically.
What really pissed me off was the fact that there were these two patriots who were using the police line as cover. They never really went in front of where the cops were. There was myself and another. There was a photographer who were. He was like literally on top of the protest, right in the thick of it. I was about 20 feet away. And then these people are getting comments these patriots are getting comments in their Facebook feed about how brave they are to show up in plates and hide behind a police line. And it's like, this is what we've come to. We've come to a place where individuals can be arrested and given felony riot for attempting to block a road. Meanwhile, we have people getting cheered on as heroes when they have the courage necessary to cower behind a line of armed individuals.
Oh yeah, like, everybody's dicked around and completely, like, I mean, we don't make any sense anymore.
We're completely bass-ackwards. But we really need
there's
to
a
get
reason
back.
why they say it's a fucking clown world, right? Oh, we're gonna get banned now. Everybody thinks I'm a Nazi.
Oh no, you use the word clown, you must be a fascist. That's just how this works now. Welcome to 2020. But the protest was overwhelmingly peaceful. Everybody is back on their feet except for that one. I got a message from them. Once they're all settled, they might be willing to do some interviews. They might be able to give some comments, obviously anonymously. And I might be able to get some of that for you guys to get the perspective of not only that bitch behind the police line and myself 20 feet from the protest, but we might be able to get the perspective of the people who, by the way, during that arrest, I saw pieces of fabric from umbrellas flying through the air. Like it was one of those cartoon scuffles where like clothes are getting ripped and shit and everything is flying around. It literally looked like that. It was like the video does not do it justice with how brutal it was. They were backed up against a wall, beaten, had their fucking clothes and umbrellas ripped off and ripped away.
Well, like,
and
while
they were
were
thrown in
huddled
vans and
down,
driven.
like that guy was like, just that a couple of those guys were walking around and just like shooting, like, was that rubber bullets or pepper bullets? Just like right into them.
Yeah, there were pepper balls. I actually stopped.
Like pepper
filming.
bullets.
I stopped filming because there was a pepper ball that flew next to my face. So I'm like, I'm going to move now.
You need to get yourself some better gear.
Just get paintball gear. Easy peasy.
Well, speaking of gear, there's been some ammo shortages that might be coming your way for the next 18 months.
Uh-oh.
And the problem is that none of the officers are included in that shortage, so they're getting all the bullets, and we're not.
Well, what makes you say that, though?
Well, it's because the gun stores, the gun shows, the manufacturers are having to basically go not only to the highest bidder, but there's not a the police departments and federal agencies have like a cachet of bullets whenever crap hits the fan. None of the gun stores have that, so everybody's buying all these bullets at gun stores, even online. They don't have this backup, this prepping of bullet, because normally bullets come a dime a dozen. You can get a bullet for a couple of cents. Right now, a couple of bullets might run you a couple of dollars. There's
if you're looking at 5.56, usually it's about 30 to 40 cents per round, and now it's up to about 80.
Yeah.
The only thing that I've actually seen totally stable is 7.62 by 39 for all you AK nerds out there, because that hasn't really gone up past 30 cents a round. It's pretty stable around 27 to 28.
Everybody's buying rifles or handguns. And then
good luck finding a gun.
Yeah, it's they're buying all the bullets to all the guns that are legally allowed in the states right now.
Obviously, the answer to not finding a gun is to
print a gun.
Print a gun.
Exactly.
But you can't even find parts kits now. You can't even find fucking parts kits.
No, you can't, because it's not only the supply chain issues, but because they're being cracked down, internationally. So if you do try to find parts, you're going to have to try to find them in North America. And that's if COVID-19 restrictions doesn't hamper that.
Mm-hmm.
So now not only you have the manufacturers having a backlog of bullets, but now you have police with a lot more bullets than the populace. And then you got supply chain issues of trying to get, said supplies to America. So not only are we running out of potentially food, but bullets too. In the next 12 to 18 months.
It's the apocalypse. What do you fucking expect at this point? Start reloading, buy some dives.
So when do you guys think the zombies are going to happen?
I give it till December.
It's Night of the Comet. You seen that 80s horror flick?
If that audio drama we did way back in the day is any indicator, we're already surrounded by the zombies.
Man, that's real OG callback there.
Yeah, that is, right?
Not a real fan.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Don't worry about it. It's
fine.
Exactly.
It was
the less people that know about it, the better.
Yeah, it was terrible. I'm surprised I didn't get arrested while trying to film that, because I'm out in the bushes in the middle of the night trying to pretend like there's a fucking boogaloo in Wonderland.
I need to see this now. Email me this now.
Paxton got one of his fucking friends involved. It was a big ordeal. I got a British dude to play the narrator.
Oh god. So what's next? Do we have any more questions about protest?
We should make it a subscriber only thing to be able to view it.
Yeah.
Well, you guys better go fast. Let's watch it so you don't have to fucking subscribe.
So do we have any more questions about the Phoenix protest, or can we do next topic?
I think we can next topic, because honestly, this is yet another case of fucking cops bad.
And let's see if we can get those interviews done. Next topic.
Yeah, that would be really interesting. Do your journalizing. Next topic.
Journalism zings.
Okay, so you guys talked about horrible things. I'll do a good one. All right, Lansing, Michigan, there was a unity rally, and there were a lot of people there. Maj was there. There were Boog people there. Everything was great. Obviously, it didn't go badly. Nothing horrible fucking happened. I didn't get the clips uploaded from that because my internet sucks, and that makes me really sad, because there were some good images and clips from there and stuff, and that I had gotten. But I'm gonna it was a little last minute today, so bear with me. I'll grab some of the links of things that people put up over it and edit them in. But honestly, everything was pretty good. It was really nice. It was inspiring to watch people come together out there and talk about unity, and really that's what we need more than anything at all, because like more and more and more, as we've been saying all night goddamn logging, all fucking week, all month, all year, that they're trying to fucking divide us as much as they possibly can. Watching us turn around and look at them all at the same time angrily is probably the one like worst nightmare that they have.
I know a former corrections officer, and he always said, if the blacks hated you, it's fine. If the Mexicans hate you, it's fine. If the white people hate you, that's also fine. But the moment they all hate you and they all agree on something, you're fucked.
Oh, you want to know about that, Maxwell? There's something happening in South Africa that's never happened before.
Oh,
The majority
Black people got along.
the majority blacks and the minority whites are both against both the Congress and the police for the first time in the history of that nation.
oh shit.
There is something going on in that country, and it's not even a white genocide. It's just it's now heading into like the Somalia type anarchy.
It's not white genocide anymore because they already killed most of the white farmers.
Pretty much, it's basically heading into like a Somalia type anarchy without the religious context.
Well, Somalia isn't anarchist. It's just a bunch of tiny states. Just because they're warlords doesn't make it anarchist. It's still statist, just on another level down.
They're religious anarchy, put it that way, because of the Al-Shabaab militants that own about 2/3 of that country.
They're Somalia big gay. Come fight me. Because I've got told too many times, oh, well, if you like anarchism, you should go to Somalia. You know what? Fuck Somalia. I haven't even been there. I already fucking hate the place. If all these statists want me to go there so bad, it must be bad. It's just like prison. I've never been to prison, but if all the statists want me to be there, it's probably not a very good place.
Can I just point out
None of
historically
us
that
have ever been to
Somalia is not an anarchist state.
It's not.
It is a failed socialist state. It fucking
Well,
collapsed
what
because it
happened-
could not
Not even
handle
like
the
a-
economical strain.
It's also like kind of not even supposed to be a state. There were like 3 or 4 regions, like Somaliland and Somalia, and then they just kind of like lumped them all. Yeah, because there was French Somaliland, British Somaliland, and Somalia, which was the Italians. And basically after the World War II, they're just like, hey, you know what would be fun? What if we took these 3 geographic locations where people hate each other and made them one fucking country? And
Oh, so they call it Sykes-Picot there. That's what that shit is.
Yeah, they do that a lot. It's a problem.
Yeah.
Europe-
Well, one of the big problems. I mean, I don't know too much about Somalia's situation, but I did a little research on it when I was doing my oceanography class, because I had to talk about economic impacts too on one of the clips. And basically, a lot of companies came in and like overfished their waters and stuff. So a lot of people who were like fishermen, which was like a big profession down there, just got dicked, and most of the fish were gone. So yeah, that's why a lot of people down in Somalia just resorted to piracy.
Because there aren't any fish left because they already caught all the fish.
Yeah, they fucking like giant fucking fishing trawlers just came in and fucking destroyed their ecosystem.
Yeah, like, dear Somalia, learn how to fucking be responsible in your fishing practices. I feel like that's just the core.
Well, it wasn't even the
most
state.
entitled response
it was
I've ever fucking heard.
It was multinational corporations coming in and fucking taking all their resources.
It was not
multinational
multinational corporations. I've read a lot about Somalia, and maybe there were some corporations who did it, but the primary driver was the fact that the Somali fishermen just didn't give a fuck, so they would just fish until there weren't fish left.
That's how every nation ever has ever done it. What do you mean? That's exactly the situation we're in.
It was also very much contributed to by the fact that they were commies and a lot of poverty, so they're like, oh, well, I need food. for my
Let
family.
me put it this way. It only takes maybe like 2 or 3 big multinational corporations to outfish the entire population of Somalia. They can do that. They have the resources. There's some guy that came in. There's probably some guy could have came in with one of those big ass mega trolleys and outfished everybody over there.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't matter how many.
2 companies can compete with an entire nation whose entire cultural heritage is built on the fact that they're a coastal nation and they fish a lot.
They
Mark.
they have the resources to do that. If you're a big multinational corporation,
those corporations can do that.
they can fucking
they can't.
But
corporations with
they can do
militaries
that
larger
easily,
than some
man.
countries.
Well, yeah,
Dude,
but that's
there's some mega corporations out there that actually have their own militaries, their own fucking little city states.
I know,
like
but
that.
these aren't the people who were fishing in Somalia.
I'm pretty sure there was.
I mean, okay, we'll talk about this later.
I mean,
Totally off
a
topic.
corporation is going to outfish any.
All right,
like a
both
large...
of you be quiet. Fucking go to the
Right.
next topic.
Mm.
Jesus.
Fine.
Guys are fucking the worst feds.
You
Fishing.
can debate Somali fishing
Fishing.
practices later.
Look, this is
Alright,
what happens when you
fine.
have this on the channel. There's going to be
That's
arguments.
it. We're gonna investigate Somalian fishing tactics and talk about it one morning when we don't have a topic to talk about.
That
And
is
it's-
gonna be the
No,
most-
you
last
can't be in
minute
the
out
morning
the
because I
ass.
can't be up early enough for the
Look,
morning.
I blame colonialism. Just saying.
Well, I blame socialism. That's all I'm gonna say.
I blame statists.
Also, colonialism is based.
What?
This is the rich white dude.
Says that, hey, wait. We need like an animation for that's the joke.
Anyways, what else do we have left on this fucking package tonight?
I don't know. Make it stop.
My
Make it
God.
rain, Mike. Make it rain.
Please don't make it rain.
That sounds horrible.
I think that was actually everything.
I feel like we're missing something.
Oh, the censorship stuff. You didn't really hit on that much.
Censorship is bad and it's fucking everywhere.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go. Now we can close it.
There we go.
I feel like we've harped on the censorship enough this week since we got fucking banned, but they talk about it all the time.
Yeah, so
What's
for those
left
of you
to
that
say?
don't know, a lot of our new followers are actually here because of the banning, but we got banned on Facebook. Facebook was like half of our viewership and stuff like that. We always knew we were going to get kicked off of Facebook at some point, but it still hurts, and it is a absolute fucking nightmare getting you people to come into secure networks. So leave the YouTubes, leave the Facebook, join BitChute, join Elements and Riot, fucking get off of these websites that are tracking every little thing you do. You need to secure your information because the censorship is coming. Maybe not today. Is it going to take down your channel? Maybe not tomorrow, but it eventually will take down your channel. There's been plenty of people on YouTube that have been purged through their TOS systems that are way not political or violent at all that have been kicked off there. There's plenty of history channels that have been kicked off. One of my favorite history channels has been demonetized for the longest time now because they dare talk about World War II history. But what I'm getting at is censorship, of course, is bad. But if you really want to help us out and support the channel, please like and subscribe. We have our CoinTree link as well. We take Bitcoin and Ethereum, all the different cryptocurrencies out there if you want to stay anonymous, which we definitely support and appreciate. But every little dollar that you send our way goes directly back into the show and helps Mike and I produce better content and get new cameras and new libraries and leather chairs.
And cocaine and hookers.
Well, that just comes from the
That's
FBI.
the most important part right there, man.
But we will be on every single morning at is it 6:30? Is that
6:30 a.m. CT.
Wow, man.
Every single morning. We decided Facebook could go fuck itself, and rather than just sitting down and crying, we decided, hey, you know what? We're gonna do a show every single day. Yep, exactly. So if you'd like to buy us a coffee, that would be greatly appreciated. My coffee is
'Cause
very
we're gonna be
expensive.
drinking a lot of it.
Oh yeah.
Alcohol in your coffee, Paxton. That's why it's expensive.
Hey, don't
I don't
tell
like being
people
called
my
out like that.
secret.
No, well, I'm doing it now.
Or like, bitch, don't tell people shit. Like, what if like his mom's watching this?
My mother's dead.
There you go. Point
You
taken.
have another mom.
Yeah, you're the other mom.
But yeah, thank you guys for watching us. Please like and subscribe, share the content if you can, give us money so I can get a new leather chair. Thank you guys for watching. You guys have a good night.